Why?
I've said what I've said.
No, I'm not
I've
talking.
said what I said.
I know
this
what you
segment, said. Look, this segment is not about him.
I know.
For my last time speaking. Respect that.
Yeah, man. A little bit of tension between Piers Morgan, Wilder, and Chisora later. It reminds me of the Simon Jordan and Wilder clash. This is on the eve of the boxing match between Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora. Both 50th fight, 100 fights between them, and they'll be facing each other in the heavyweight contest very soon. And apparently, as you can see there, there were some interesting words called. Obviously, mind the language and that. But let's continue this.
Yeah, respect it. Respect it and move forward.
Deontay, the only point I would make is that you seemed then to have a lot of respect for him, and as you said,
Piers Morgan is forwarding like Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan was insistent on asking the questions of Wilder in relation to Tyson Fury. Fury, of course, fought Wilder, was it twice? And defeated Wilder, and Wilder feels that Tyson Fury cheated, and Simon Jordan, despite the interview at the time being between or about Chisora fighting, Wilder was insistent on bringing up Tyson Fury, and Wilder was not having it, basically. And we can see that he stood up in the studio and he said his piece. And it seems like Piers Morgan here is trying to do the same thing. Of course, we can reflect on the interview that Piers Morgan had with HS Tiki-Toki. Was it last week? Where HS Tiki-Toki made him leave his own show. But I'm not sure that that's what happens in this instance, as we do see the gentleman shake hands later on. But yeah, HS Tiki-Toki riled up a lot of people who feels rude to people he interviews sometimes, Piers Morgan, and caused him to leave his own show. That's what HS Tiki-Toki done to him. But anyway, let's hear what's going on here in this interview.
Yeah, no. Let's tell him he's a cunt.
On Piers Morgan Uncensored, I'm even breaking up the poor language, Derek. But I think Derek's kind of saying, leave him alone now, Piers.
Well, let's move on.
Who?
You.
He's saying to let's move on. He's saying it's clear that Wilder doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Why are you persisting, Piers?
Me or Tyson Fury?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
It's very direct, but of course, I mean, the guy's a heavyweight professional boxer. I don't think Piers is going to spend too long arguing with him. But let's hear how this goes.
Why am I?
You keep talking about something you don't want to talk about.
There you go. He keeps on talking about something that Wilder doesn't want to talk about. Wilder's made his point about Tyson Fury, but he's here to discuss a fight with Derek Chisora.
Yeah, I'm fighting this man right here. Yeah.
There you go. He's fighting Derek Chisora. And do you know what's been interesting as I watched this interview run between Wilder and Derek Chisora? They're obviously, I don't expect anything apart from fireworks when they forward to the ring, very soon. However, they've been very pally. They're cool. They're definitely friends or whatever. They're just basically saying they're not in no theatrics. They just want to, do what they need to do.
Ask me something about him.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're the big one. Because you are one. So.
Very direct again from Chisora, saying that he's a certain word. But here we go. They never came to blows at the end of all of this. It was all handshakes all round. But Derek's never going to mince his words.
Be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why are you doing the show?
I have zero respect for him.
Why?
I've said what I've said.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, Wilder's not on it, man. He's not going to be discussing that stuff. Look, there's another clip where Wilder's on this. I think it's on the same show where he's discussing, and I'm gonna take this time to do it now because the way how he describes it is mud, and I think it will definitely get this video banned if I were to play that clip potentially on YouTube, which is somewhat a family-friendly environment. But Wilder's discussing how a lady, let's say they were having relations and certain things happened, and Wilder's saying that this lady injected his, stuff that you make babies with into her, having gotten it from a particular place. I was saying those terms, and then that's how one of his daughters came for. I'm not quite sure why he chose to share it in this boxing interview, but he did, and we know about it, and I thought I'd just discuss it briefly. That's another segment, that's another part of the interview, but that description was very wild. I would say it's a very wild description, but I'm not going to play that clip. I'm not playing that clip, mate. Sorry. I'm not playing it. You're going to have to go look at Piers Morgan's interviews and go watch it for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not talking.
Said what I said.
I know what you said.
Look, this segment is not about him.
I know.
For my last time speaking.
Yes, the last time speaking, he's clearly referring to the Simon Jordan interview on TalkSport. Anyway.
Respect that. Understand?
Yeah, respect that.
Respect it and move.
He's saying you must respect it. Respect it. Yeah, Piers should respect it. Move on. I mean, maybe Piers. I'm not sure whether Piers backs down. Maybe he does. I mean, based on what happened with him and HS TikToky last week, he might take a different approach to some of these interviews, because you never know what you might encounter.
Move forward.
Deontay, the only point I would make is that you seemed then to have a lot of respect for him, and as you said,
Yeah, let's tell him he's a cunt.
Okay, excuse the language. Excuse the language.
Let's move on.
Who?
You.
Me or Tyson Fury?
Yeah, I think that's the repetition. Anyway, look, I didn't hear anything, but apparently there were certain words said. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what happened in that interview. Mad, but apart from that, handshakes all around.
My mother-in-law hates you, bro.
You saying that his mother-in-law hates Piers Morgan? They even have a phone call to the mother-in-law. See, Derek, yeah, I mean, look, it's not that deep. Obviously, afterwards, he even sent a message to the mother-in-law via video. She may have even been on the other side, end of the call, I'll be honest.
What's her name?
I think it's a video call, actually.
Vesna. Yeah, say, hey, Vesna, don't hate me.
Why does she hate?
I tell her I'm going to bring you for...
Would it bring him for dinner or something? Or, I don't know, some type of meal. I think that's what was said.
Now you don't bring him to my house. I don't like him. I'm like, why
don't bring him to my house. Doesn't like him. Bit of a comical interaction after the interview.
Hey, Vesna, I got somebody wants to say hello to you.
Vesna, you've got me so wrong.
I think it's a video message, actually, on reflection.
I'm a really misunderstood, really nice guy. So
Piers Morgan thinks he's a nice guy. I've no comment on that whatsoever. I don't know the brother. I don't know him at all, so I've no idea. But people have all sorts of views and opinions of Piers Morgan, but I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I don't know him.
Let's do that, Royce. Right, Derek?
Yeah, he's coming for a rose.
It's all giggling around. Yeah, so that's the interview. Chisora, Wilder on Piers Morgan and Uncensored, and also a story about his daughter's conception. But I don't want to go into that. That's all personal. I don't really like to do the whole personal thing. But anyway, who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to win, actually? Between these heavyweight juggernauts, Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder. It's not a situation where you've got fighters who hate each other. They're buddies who are going to fight. I don't think they're going to do any less than really go for it. If you've got friends, you'll still have a bit of a rumble from time to time. It ain't that deep. It's just part of, rivalry, competition. And I think that's what we're going to see with these heavyweight gentlemen when they fall to the ring. But yeah, man, I thought I'd just cover that. And interesting British boxing season, interesting heavyweight season. So much is going on. New people, new organisations are forward into the throw with, you know, the likes of Zuffer Boxing, etc. And you got, who do we got? And I'm going to be covering that shortly. Itoma just beat someone very badly. You got Wardley and Daniel Dubois facing each other. You got Derek Chisora and Wilder. You got Usyk facing Van Hoven. But I heard some stories about some changes in relation to that today, which I might go and look at in a bit. You've also got a kind of side story where Usyk is working with AJ, and it seems they're forming a quite brotherly relationship following some really upsetting things that happened towards the end of last year with AJ. And there's talk of maybe AJ, as I say, nothing signed, nothing sealed, AJ potentially facing Tyson Fury. Tyson also, again, massive, as I say, massive heavyweight season at the moment. Tyson Fury is facing Arslan Makhmedov. So there's a lot going on, but do look out for a few videos on. Particularly, I'm going to definitely review that Itoma fight and give my views on it. In fact, I might as well look at it in this video here. It's a heavyweight boxing video, so I might mix it up. So how the Itoma fight went down. So what did he beat him in? Was it the 4th or 5th round? We're going to learn about it here. Moses Itoma, we're going to have a breakdown on that fight. Let's just look at that quickly. So yeah, Jermaine Franklin, knockout in the 5th round. There you go. I remembered 5th round by knockout decision. And Itoma had also defeated Dillian White to win the Commonwealth title, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in August 2025. And what his record's looking at the moment is 14 fights, 14 wins, 12 by KO. He's only 21, 6'4", heavyweight, southpaw. So fights with the left hand born in Slovakia, but fighting now in the UK. And there are talks. I've seen it this week. There are talks of him becoming the new Mike Tyson. Let's look. Let's actually just take a look for this. So this is Moses Itoma, Jermaine Franklin rather. Let's see what comes up with that. Might as well just make this a lengthier heavyweight boxing video. And yeah, not talks to Mike Tyson. They're also saying, and you could observe it, that he's using, you know, look, you recognise that he's using because he's southpaw, so he's going to try and hit you with the left, but he's using the Usyk tactic of kind of psyching out his opponent, spinning that, and then launching forwards to kind of get in there. So there are some saying that he might even have a chance against Usyk. So you can see some stills of the knockdown there. Yeah, I mean, he really stood Jermaine Franklin up with that one, and he kind of stood for him, and he managed to get in. The ref didn't get in on time, and he managed to get him with another one. Let's see if we can take a look at that real quick.
This is how you make your opponent.
There you go, the little wobble there. So that's one.
Simon again. Yeah, he wants to befuddle him, doesn't he? He thinks the temple shots or the body shots are the way to get the stoppage.
So he's even. Yeah, it was a good fight, man. It's a good fight. I'm not going to show too much of it for obvious reasons. But it was just. Wow. From IFL, big up IFL, man. Coogan. Wow. Devastating performance. Very skilled fighter. I did hear Wardley saying that he's not, because Wardley said that because he's on the list next to fight Usyk, or kind of up there with Usyk, he's not looking to fight Itoma. And Wardley and Daniel Dubois, I think, were at the fight. I think they stood up to applaud after the knockdown. And I dare say, especially since Usyk said that he'll fight one of those two next. I mean, Itoma might fly through the ranks. Itoma might fly through the ranks. You kind of would want to see all the British heavyweights facing each other. A fight between maybe Daniel Dubois, or a fight between Itoma and Wardley. So Wardley saying he doesn't want to, but it's understandable. If you've got an opportunity to fight the undisputed, you're not going to try and fight Itoma, who doesn't have those belts yet. And then you've got this other dynamic where Usyk is predicting that with his assistance, AJ, Anthony Joshua, will become undisputed one day. That's what we're hearing from Usyk in terms of prediction. He was saying 26, 27, etc. 2026, 2027. But what if Itoma just ends it all for everybody and just storms through? It won't be Wardley first, clearly, but storms through a Daniel Dubois, Wardley. Maybe he might get a bye after another fight through to Usyk, and then he's got all the Infinity Stones. He's got all the belts, WBC, IBO, all of the belts. We'll see what happens, but he's clearly a fighter. Let's go to his profile. He's clearly a fighter who is building a very strong and steady reputation for himself. I mean, Dillian Whyte, he's I would say Dillian Whyte's not in the top echelon of boxers with the greatest amount of respect, because he's had losses from AJ, he's had losses from this newcomer Itoma, but equally Dillian Whyte is a decent fighter, I would say. And Itoma ended that one very quickly, so we're going to see what happens with Itoma as time goes by. But I thought I'd just take some time to look into that and cover it. Give me your thoughts. Do you see Itoma dominating, or are we just looking at this too early? I mean, Jermaine Franklin, again, he's not a boxer in the top echelon. I personally think before you start saying these types of things, you need to see Itoma against the world class. The likes of Usyk. For me, as I said, and somebody's going to have to convince me otherwise, although I was speaking on an Instagram post with a chap who does audio boxing rooms on the Clubhouse app, and he was saying that Tyson Fury's not really better than AJ, and the only reason why Tyson basically fought more with the more recent heavyweights is because Wilder was running away from AJ, it does seem that way, that Wilder, because it's very surprising that a fight never happened between Wilder and AJ. So my friend ranks Anthony Joshua over Usyk, okay, whereas my view is I say ranks Anthony Joshua over Tyson Fury. Whereas my view is you've got Usyk like on the Olympus boxing god islands looking down on everybody, and then you've got Tyson Fury, then you've got Anthony Joshua, and then you've got I'd rank Wilder significantly lower than Daniel Dubois, Wardley and Itoma, but I think before those three proved themselves, Itoma, Wardley and Derek Dubois kind of has, to be fair, but I just think because AJ kind of held the belts for longer and things like that, I still rank Anthony Joshua above those. But my ranking is Usyk, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and then those three gentlemen, and then Wilder and the likes of Derek Chisora, etc. on the tier below. But my friend ranks AJ higher than Tyson Fury. I don't agree with him, but fair enough. He's saying it's not AJ's fault that he wasn't able to fight Wilder. But yeah, a very interesting heavyweight boxing scene at the moment, man. Very, very interesting. But yeah, give me your thoughts. I just thought I'd just take you through some of that. I mean, where did I even start this video? I started this video talking about Piers Morgan and the interview with Derek Chisora, and Wilder were also having a fight, and I've ended it with talking about Moses Itoma and his trajectory through the heavyweight boxing scene. And again, you know, even if I'm looking at boxing again, even I'm even rating. I mean, Hayes no longer boxing, so that's why I wasn't really ranking him. But if we're looking at recent heavyweight boxers, I would rank. You might disagree with me, but I would rank David Hay between and we can't forget about Tony Bellew. So I haven't really mentioned because they're not boxing, but Tony Bellew, in my view, beat a very injured David Hay. So I'm not, although I think it was 2 fights, I'm not really I'm sorry, Tony. I'm not really, you know, there were battles. It was, you know, it was a lot, but because of the injury to the leg and, you know, was it the toe or whatever it was? I know it sounds mad to say. Me personally, I'm not really rating those defeats as much, because I think in his heyday, pun intended, Hay was, you know, he devastating fighter. Came up from cruiserweight, I think it was. So if I kind of scope out from my ranking system, I'm saying that David Hay is on a similar level to the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury on that ranking. I wouldn't rank him quite as high as Usyk. Audley Harrison for me is probably more around the level of the Dillian Whites and Derek Chisoras. But AJ and Hay, similar level. Then you got your Tyson Fury. Then you got your Usyk. In terms of the recent era, Bellew, because he you know, you beat the person who's in front of you, I would rank Bellew above Dillian White, Derek Chisora, and potentially even Wilder, to be fair. I just think Wilder didn't really face the elite. He was just stuck in America fighting not people who weren't elite, in my view. He didn't fight the best, apart from Tyson Fury. But anyway, look, that's my little ranking system and stuff. But yeah, please give me your comments below. Don't forget to like this video. Please make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe. But for now, I'm done talking.